The first question that we've been asked to talk about today is what prompted us to join the AFP. There's oh sorry, you want me amplified? My God, got a 5-acre voice for nothing. So the reason, what prompted me, apart from the phone call from my mother whilst I was travelling around Australia saying, for God's sake, when are you going to get a career, was a range of issues. I had watched a lot of Blue Heelers, which was a show back in the day. I think you can watch it on reruns on Go. But I'd finished my first degree and I was travelling around Australia, and I loved to travel, and I travelled as a kid internationally as well. So I loved to travel, finished my degree, and I really genuinely liked helping people. So I was trying to work out what can I possibly do that would hopefully use some of my knowledge and get me thinking every day at work, and what would also allow me to help people and maybe travel, or at least live in more than one location in Australia. So this is back before Google. I sent away to the AFP and they sent me a package back and hand wrote everything out. It was crazy. And you sent it back in and it went into this great abyss, and you thought, oh, well, okay, one day that will come through. Well, luckily for me it did. So 14 years ago, I was sitting in a place very similar to you, and I started as a police recruit. And wasn't that a surprise? So the second point that Kelly's asked me to speak about today has been the support and the challenges that I've had in my career. Now, my father still doesn't quite get that I'm a police officer. He will ask my husband, who's also a police officer, for legal advice. He thinks that I just sit behind a desk, and even when I have turned up in uniform to events, he's just thought I was doing something ceremonial. So, look, that's fine. My family are very supportive of me in whatever I do. I have been very fortunate. I have travelled due to work, I have travelled to 5 countries overseas. I have been regionally allocated to 4 locations around Australia. So I've been very fortunate that my family have gone, oh God, where's she going today? What's that for? So, for example, in 2 weeks, I'm very fortunate I get to go and represent the International Deployment Group in Norway. So I'm going there to present on a project that I ran last year, which was the expansion of our mission in Papua New Guinea. So I'm very fortunate in those opportunities. They suck that up and they make me lasagnas, and I put them in the freezer and the kids don't starve. So I'm very fortunate I've got a family that's supportive. I also have friends I have a fantastic friends. You'll hear from one of my oldest mates, Susie Nicholas, later tonight. I have fantastic friends that have supported me in my career, and that's what the AFP does bring to you. You do make those friendships. You make those friendships on the first day sitting in this theaterette. You look across at somebody and say, that girl looks smart, I'm going to sit next to her for the rest of the time. Or you stand next to a bloke that you think will help you out on duty and won't let you get bashed up too much. So you find those people pretty early on, and you find that you build really good relationships. So you have that network of support. You then also, your friends grow with you whilst you're in the AFP. Your friends from outside, and they're equally important to your friends inside the police service. So your friends outside learn to understand how hard some of your challenges are in work, and how you need to be supported as much as anybody else. You're not bulletproof, you do have emotions, and sometimes jobs are tough. So it's very, very important that they understand the work you do, how passionate you are about it, but that you still need the odd phone call or the text message to say, you're okay with that, you've been working long hours. So that's really important. I started my career being involved in drug investigations in Sydney office. And I really enjoyed that work up there. We all thought we were pretty special. And, you know, when your first major investigation is a 10-kilo importation of ecstasy, it's exciting. It is exciting. And you work really, really hard. You work long hours and you learn a lot. And then you go on TV for the presentation. You often see that, you know, where they present the drugs and all this. And your mother rings you up on the phone and says, why didn't you wash your hair? And you go, I don't know, I've just worked 3 19-hour shifts, I'm sorry. So, you know, it's good that people keep you grounded and you don't think you're super cop for too long. So, I didn't have a real Jermaine Greer moment. I followed a man down to Canberra and I joined ACT Policing, and it was the best move I have ever made. ACT Policing to me, you can never go wrong with starting your career in ACT Policing. I learnt so much. I learnt how to deal with the community. I learnt how to deal with people in crisis. I learnt so many things that I don't think I would have ever learnt in any other way. I was then very fortunate to be selected to be part of the detectives team, and the work that I'm most passionate about has been sexual assaults and child abuse, and I was able to work there for 4 years. And as much as it's a horrible topic, the work was fantastic. So I managed to stay there for a while, and then my husband and I, he's in the police force as well. I know, you know, it's pretty sad. I do go out with people that aren't police officers occasionally and have a meal just to talk to real people. And we got deployed to Darwin, and in Darwin I was able to do further investigations up there in another context. So that was really exciting. So I'm currently in the International Deployment Group. This is a group that manages our missions in up to 7 countries at any one time. It's a fantastic area to work. As I said, I've had great opportunities. I've travelled more in the last 2 years than I have in the last 14. I have fantastic support there. I currently work 4 days in the office and 1 day from home. I am very flexible with that. There is a carer's room in my office, and so if I need to come in for meetings, I set my 4-year-old up with the illegal iPad that, you know, we're not meant to use as parents as babysitters, and I have my meetings, and you know, he gets bribed. So you know, they're very flexible. Or people will be very kind to me and they will hold meetings for me in the afternoon when I can change shifts with my husband and we can care for our kids. So I've got no complaints to make whatsoever about the ability that I have to mix my role as what I see a very important role as a police officer in the International Deployment Group, and my equally, if not marginally more important role as mum. So I know you ladies here today are not thinking about, oh God, kids. I know it takes a bit of talking into, but you've got to, if you want to look at something that will support you as a career versus a job, you've got to consider these things, and this is where you can really start to have some opportunities. I've never ever been held back from an opportunity because I'm a mother. I've never been held back from an opportunity because I'm female. The only reason I've been held back from opportunities is not being in the right place at the right time, or not having the skill sets that I need. But whenever I've wanted an opportunity and I've been able to obtain those skill sets, I've been given that opportunity. So I'll just look at my last points before I get the wind up from Kel Crocky. You'll see tonight we've just had the acting commissioner, and you can see tonight we've got your acting deputy, performing the role of deputy commissioner, Leah Close, and we've got lovely manager L&D up the back there, Fiona Drennan. She won't wave at me, she'll just stare at me and yeah. So I've been very fortunate. I've worked for both these ladies before, and I can tell you that the environments that they encourage are one of professionalism. They are not one of gender, and that's what's so important. I think we forget about it in the major issues. And look, I'm not going to tell fibs here and say that every step of my journey has been an easy one and that I've never been discriminated against. But it's no different to the general public. The general public are generally the ones that discriminate against female police officers the worst, because they have an expectation of what a police officer looks like and how they should act. So I just think that you shouldn't go into this thinking that it's vastly different. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of other organisations, and it's come a long way in the last 14 years. So I'm going to be staying around after my talk if you'd like to pull me aside and say, how do I get your very exciting dynamic life of 2 children and running home to cook dinner before coming out tonight? Please, by all means, pull me aside. Anything else, Kel, I've forgotten? I'll take my post-it and I'll go.
Thank you very much for your time.